Hi guys, and welcome to my December TBR, which is so exciting. I feel weird talking about 2019 books still, but we gotta do it. We gotta finish out the month. This one is no surprise because it was on some of my top 10 lists, but it is Things You Say for Fire by Katherine Center. This follows a young girl who's a firefighter in Texas. She's in a more liberal firefighting station. She moves to a more conservative one in Boston because of some family discrepancies. And I had a lot of fun with this book. I really enjoyed it. I thought the author executed it so well for such a kind of plain story. I really liked it in the end when I finished it. And I thought the author did like an exceptional amount of like work or background story, because a lot of times when authors are like, oh, this person does this, or this person does this, either one, they put the person as like a writer because they know what that job entails, or they're very vague on what they're actually doing at their job, or they give like such details that you're like, I don't care about this. I want to know more about the story. But I thought the way she inserted the EMT firefighter into the story, I thought it was like really well done. And I cared to know about it, and it was fun, it was interesting, and it didn't like bog down the story by any means. I had fun with it. The only thing is I think the romantic lead in it was a little flatline for my taste. He just didn't have much personality. He had a lot of backstory. There was a lot to him. But for 3/4 of the book, they called him Rookie, which was really weird. So he felt impersonal to me because of that. So I didn't just like cling. I liked the other aspects of the book a lot more than I liked romance. That's why I don't think this book was in my top romance books, because to me, it just wasn't all about romance, and I think that's a huge reason why. And he just didn't have much of a personality coming across the page. Like, there was a lot to him, but for me it was just like, meh. It was kind of basic stuff, like, oh, he's like really he's had these things happen to him, but he's like really sensitive, and I don't know, and he knows how to cook or something. I don't know. Yeah, he wanted to become a chef, but for me it just didn't sell the romance. But I really loved the book. I really highly rated the book. I loved the story. It was so much fun. It was different, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I like it when people can take everyday things and make me really care about them. Books I'm going to combine together, even though I didn't read them together, but I read them both in December, and they were The Wish Granter and then also The Traitor Prince. Traitor Prince is one of the last books I read actually in December, but they were both by C.J. Redwine. They're both in a series, so they're not connected series. They're more like romance story. Like when romance writers write, they like kind of add in like a person from another book a little bit, but it really doesn't matter to the book. You really don't have to read the other books before. So these series, you could definitely just pick one or the other. The very first one was obviously a Rumpelstiltskin series because it was talking about wishes. And I really enjoyed this one. So this book was written in thirds, so you got to hear from Ari, Sebastian, and Alistar. Alistar is Rumpelstiltskin, okay? So Ari's the main female lead. I really enjoyed her. She's like this curvaceous, unapologetic woman. And then Sebastian's like that guy that keeps all his emotions inside and like rough exterior, right? And then Alistar is a pretty dang good evil guy. He was probably, out of the series I read so far, out of the 3 books, he was probably my favorite villain, which usually Rumpelstiltskin isn't that high, but I liked him. The only things in the book is like they make him really powerful, and for me, I'm like, why didn't he just take over before? Like, why doesn't he just smash the king and queen of this kingdom? Like, I don't know. But then it almost kind of solves up a little too easily to me in the end how powerful Rumpelstiltskin is led to believe, because they had me believing. Like, I didn't think they were gonna make it. She did a really good job at like being like, will they, won't they make it? I thought, even though you know how the story is going, I suspended belief and believed they weren't gonna make it at some points, which is really good. So I enjoyed the book, had fun with the book. And also as well about this book, they introduced Hansel and Gretel. So I really hope there's a Hansel and Gretel book I just don't know about, because the one that was released last year was not Hansel and Gretel, but I hope they get their own book because they sound like really fun characters. But on that note, the next book, The Traitor Prince, I liked even more, which is really surprising because I don't like Prince and Pauper stories. And there was another release that I had read the first book of, and it was a Prince and Pauper story as well this year, and I didn't go ahead and read it because it didn't have that great reviews. But because I don't really like Prince and Pauper, so I really did enjoy this. There were some things that nagged me because I think it's just the basics of the Prince and the Pauper story of like a guy setting up to and pretending to be the prince. But it kind of made me want to reread The Prince and the Pauper. So this one tells the same story in Ravenspire in a different kingdom of a prince who hasn't seen his like father in like a decade, so a lot of people don't know him, and of course the pauper comes in because he knows a lot of people have not seen him, and he looks close enough to the family. He's like a cousin relative of the family, so people believe he is the prince, and he goes off to try and kill the actual prince. That's how the story starts. So I really liked the reimagining of this story. I really liked the way it was told. I liked it a little more. I love when the prince goes to jail and meets Sahada. I don't know how to say her name at all, but she actually turned out to be my favorite character. I love her. She's this woman who like works in the jail and is a slave in the jail, but I really enjoyed her. She was so much fun. The pauper, the actual pauper, I think they made him a little bit too soft. Where she did the last one, a really, really good villain, I feel like the pauper was made a little too soft, and that's obviously his big weakness in the end. But I really liked the romance in this story. That's probably why I enjoyed this Prince and the Pauper retelling. And I really liked the girl that they set up as well in the story. So I liked The Traitor Prince a lot. I would suggest all of these. I love retellings, and I really like these ones. These are really fun so far. There's just one more I have to read that was released last year, and I don't know if she's going to keep going on. But I'd like to see one where like more of the characters connect, because these are all like different kingdoms. You like hear over in that kingdom, you hear about them like later on, but not much. You just get like the tiniest bit of the original players you were listening to. Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I really was so excited about this one. The Wicked King was released earlier this year, and I really enjoyed that one. And The Cruel Prince was released last year, and I really enjoyed that one. And I'm so happy they were released so close together, so I didn't have to wait. They are super fast fantasy reads, and I really did enjoy them all. But as far as the ending book, it was probably my least favorite, was The Queen of Nothing. It just felt like they got into troubles and they did get into scrapes. The very first part was a little bit boring, but once it picked up pace, I really did enjoy the story. But it still never like suspended my belief, like I said. Like I never believed they weren't gonna make it. And Cardan flipping a switch and being like, I can't live without you. I don't know, I just didn't buy it of Cardan. I wanted Cardan to still have a bit of an edge, but show his emotional side, but I wanted that edge still to Cardan. I felt like that had dropped away. So for me, it wasn't my favorite ending of a trilogy, but I still really enjoyed it. It was still really fun. I like the Fae World. I hope she writes more about the Fae World, because I think she does the Fae World really, really well. I really enjoyed it. And yeah. So I read Dare to Love by Carly Phillips because I saw it recommended here on YouTube. It is the first in a series where I think the other person had like read one of the series, but I like to start at the beginning now with romances. I just like to have like that build up because I think it makes them better. I think it makes the stories better, even though you can read them like taken out of the stack anywhere usually with like corresponding romances. I think it does make the story better. Anyway, so I've read the first one. The first one is about a guy who is really uppity about himself. He's sure of himself. And he has like a father who made a huge mistake in his past, who had an entire another family. So this guy's got a lot of anger against his family that he didn't know about, and he's got a lot of anger towards his father as well, of course. And so you can't really build a loving relationship with a girl you meet until you learn how to love, I think. What was the main message of the story? It is a steamy romance for sure. Wasn't prepared for this complex of a background story, I guess, when I was getting into it. Because the story is like sports related. I was expecting another football, because it's a football one. So I was expecting like the ones I had been reading, football and baseball steamy romance reads. And this guy's like, he's behind the scenes. So I knew it'd be different, but I still expected like a sports related theme. And it was kind of not that at all. So it was a little different than I originally thought. Alex was definitely, the man was definitely my favorite character over the woman, the female romantic lead. But I felt like the story was written really, really fast, like a normal, typical steamy romance, and it didn't play out all the emotions correctly. So for me, it just like didn't win me over in the end. I was just like, oh, okay. So I read the next one because I've been doing that lately. Like if I didn't like the first one particularly, I always give the second one a chance because it might be just those set of characters that for whatever reason they just don't mesh well in my head. So I read Dare to Desire, and this one isn't about an actual football player. And he is the brother who he like worshipped his older brother, the one that is running it, but his older brother didn't know he existed till he was like 18. His older brother hates him. So there comes a point where this kid growing up kind of hates that other side of the family as well. So there's a lot of anger there. And some of it's sorted in the first book a little bit. But he comes to work for him because he has gotten injured so poorly and he doesn't know where he's going in his life kind of moment. So like end of a sports story romance, and he ends up working with a girl who is very assertive and fun. I think I liked the girl more in this one, and I liked this story a little bit better, I think, because there wasn't as much emotional damage, I guess, in this one. I don't know. And so it didn't feel like it needed to be played out like longer or bigger. So I felt like the next one I read was Just Kiss Me by Rachel Gibson. It's a story about a girl and a guy who are, they grew up on different sides. Like she grows up the maid's daughter and kind of knows him from a distance, and he's older than her, so he's a bit more promiscuous when they're younger. And yeah, he's different. He's grown up very wealthy and privileged, and she is not. And then she grows up to be a beautiful actress and comes back to town, and she's sorting out her mom's life, and he comes back in the picture because he was making his mom furniture, and their moms, even though she was like the maid that lived on the property, were really, really close, and I don't know why. So that's the whole big scandal in it. And the romance in it is really fun as well. I really enjoyed this one. This was one of my favorite ones I read by Rachel Gibson, if not the favorite. I didn't put it at the top of the list because it was like right there at the end of the year. And I was like, no, I can't write the other one because I just read this one. It was really, I don't know, I really enjoyed this one. I would suggest if you're just starting with Rachel Gibson, this one was my favorite, and then the other one I said was my favorite was Stacey's Back in Town. I think she does a really good job with those. But her books are just like candy. You fly through them. They're really fast reads. They're really easy romances, steamy romances, and they're so much fun. What I read was Together at Midnight by Jennifer Castle. This came out at the beginning of the year in January, and this was a fun book. I didn't hear much about it until somebody was like, oh, I found this book, and I hope it's really good on YouTube. I thought it was really cute and fun. It was something completely different. It was about a girl and a guy who like meet up, and they just go through this very whirlwind, shocking experience of watching someone like almost die. So it affects you, and they get kind of trapped in Manhattan over a little bit over the holidays, waiting for New Year's. So yeah, Together at Midnight. You get it. But they get like challenged by like a diner owner to like do kindness, like to be kind to people, and they find it harder than it really is, or they find it harder than they initially think, and they go on this little experiences together, which brings them closer. It's a little romantic YA story. It was really cute. I thought it was done well. I would recommend it to YA romance lovers. And I don't know why it hasn't picked up more speed than it has, but it was a fun book. This one is Parental Guidance by Avery Flynn, and it came out in June of this year, and I think the next book already came out too, but I haven't read it yet. But this was an Ice Night story, and I was kind of surprised by this because I had read this similar storyline about like their parents setting them up this year, and I just didn't think that book was done as well. But this one is about a girl and a guy. The girl is pushed to basically do this dating app because her friend makes her do it and is like, I'll take you to this person, like this gala to meet this person. She makes little figurines for a living. And the friend is like, okay, I'll sign up for the app. And then the guy is doing it to like recover his image because his image kind of got slammed. The only problem with this book is his image gets slammed in like a way that's kind of unbelievable, like that would really slam his image and take him down from becoming a captain, because he really wants to become a captain on the hockey team. It's all his dreams in life are. And so he does this dating app for his mom. His mom gets to pick the girl, and his mom picks this girl. Yeah. So it's like they hate to love trope a little bit, but they don't really truly hate each other. I thought this book was fun and cute and fast. It was okay. It was like just like middle of the road. It's done better than the other one I read this year about dating apps, but I had fun with it. So this one is called Good Girl by Lauren Lane, and it came out like 3 years ago. So I read a few in this series. I started out with like Walk of Shame, and it was really fun, and I have no idea why this series is connected at all, because these like characters don't come up. I read the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one, and none of the characters repeat each other. I think it's a theme of the series is why they were placed together, but I don't get it. They should have just produced as standalones. Good Girl is just about a girl who grows up and becomes a famous singer, and she gets in a scrape in Hollywood where people think she has slept with people who are married. And it ruins her good girl image. She hasn't, of course. She ends up meeting this guy who she thinks is like a caretaker of a house, and he is actually really, really wealthy. What a surprise, surprise. But they grow close together while she's hiding out. That's the entire story. I don't get why it's anything to do with two people in New York like the other story. The other story is just, I don't know. I've been having fun with these books. They're really short, really quick reads by Lauren Lane. They're fun and quirky. But yeah, this one was just middle of the road. Book was by Casey Dyer, and it was Finding Frasier. This one is kind of reminds me of YA. It was so much fun. I'm so glad I have the book because I probably want to keep it. It was just really cute and fun. But it's about a young girl. She goes up to Scotland to find her Jamie Fraser, and she's obviously looking for him in all the wrong ways. She's looking for a big, buff, brute redhead who's kind of angry. I don't really know. But she like at first is like just like going by like looking for a man based on his physical appearance, but not actual Jamie Fraser attributes. So she obviously ends up in some really bad ends, but she gets to go across like all over Scotland, and it's so much fun. She ends up getting booted from Scotland at one point. I liked it. I liked like the little towns. It was such a cozy little read. It reminded me of Jamie, and reminded me of Outlander, and it was just like a fun, lighthearted, easier way to read them, because those books are deep. Like they take a long time to read, or they take me a long time to read. So yeah, this was a fun little spin-off, like to spend time in that world, but not really have to be there. I would suggest it if you're an Outlander fan. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, and it's a cute cover. It's a really cute cover. And Diana Gabaldon like recommended it even, the actual author. But yeah, it's fun. It's adventurous. It's kind of what I expected it to be. But yeah, I think you'll enjoy it as well. So those are all the books I read in December and the end of the year in 2019. I'm so glad I don't have to talk about 2019 books anymore. It's a fresh start. This year I'm trying to read more of like these books I actually own, which is really fun. So I've pulled all the ones that are like towards the top of my list, books I've been wanting to read forever. I've put on TBRs before, and I hope I only pull from this pile, but knowing me, I won't. I've already read a lot of library books, but that is probably going to be the next one I see you guys in. So I will see you guys in my next like 2020 TBR, I guess. I think that's what I'll call it. I don't know. Hope you guys had fun. See you guys next time. Bye.